All right, still talking about chain training. Chain training number 2, posterior chain. Posterior chain is everything on the backside. Starts on the bottom of your feet, ankles, calves, hamstrings, gluteus, and in your hips. These are supposed to be your hips, your back, and even your neck to a certain degree. Lots of good exercises for this one, but in the bodyweight world here, we have bridges, which are very good. The key here is bridges are the entire posterior chain. Lots of times you see people doing this, they have like a barbell on their hips and they're lifting up their hips, their back is on a bench and stuff. This is meant to be more for the glutes, maybe a little bit in the hamstrings, but the problem with this type of thing is they're treating it as a pushing exercise. They're pushing their feet into the floor this way. And this is not what we're really about here. What we're trying to do is we're trying to engage all of these muscles. Okay, again, chain. Think chain. If you feel it particularly in certain muscles, but not others, it means one of two things. Number one is that muscle is a weak link in the chain and it needs to get stronger. Or two, your mind is used to engaging certain muscles along the chain, but not the rest of it. You ideally should feel this equally throughout your entire chain when you're doing this. Eventually, may take some time to get there. So, what are bridges working? Bridges are working the bottom of your feet, your calves, your hamstrings, your glutes, all of the muscles, every single muscle in your back. Everything. We talk about, bridges are about the spinal muscles, the erectors and stuff. Yes, that's great too. Spinal muscles, and the quadratus lumborum in your lower back, and your lats, and your traps, and your rhombus, all of it. So when we're doing this, we're not driving our feet into the ground. As I tell people, if you're doing this and you're driving yourself back, and it's like your collar is catching your throat, you're driving yourself that way. That's not at all what bridges are about. Bridges are about pulling this way. So it's kind of like your body's like this and you're pulling up and this sort of thing. Think like continental drift, how mountains are formed. Two plates, they push against each other and they drive upwards. Same thing, so your whole back is trying to go this way, your legs that way. I tell people if your hands are on your hips, that's a harder version. Sometimes if your hands are down here, it's like reach for your ankles with your hands. So you're trying to trying to reach with your hands down that way and you're trying to get your ankles here. Of course, nothing is actually physically moving, but that's the idea, is you've got force driving this way and your entire posterior chain should light up with the basic line bridge. Of course, there's other variations to bridges. Refer to convict conditioning for variations thereof. Next, we come up with your leg chain. Coming up. Be fit, live free.